Hi, everybody. Ian Bremmer here, and a quick take to kick off your week back in New York City. And I've seen that there are histrionics about the East Wing being demolished by President Trump. That part of the White House that the public would enter to get tours and see the Christmas decorations. And it ain't there anymore. And I am not as worked up as a lot of people seem to be. I mean, I've seen influencers on social media say it reminded them of seeing the Pentagon on 9/11. That seems kind of insane. I saw Eric Swalwell, the rep from California, saying that anyone that runs for office needs to take a wrecking ball to it. Democratic side on day one needs to make that pledge. That seems insane to me. This is, first of all, in the grand scheme of things, there's a lot more to focus on, and I'll get to the things that I focus on a lot more this week in a second. But also, I mean, honestly, I thought it was kind of strange that they didn't have a place for their biggest events when they throw parties for heads of state and otherwise, and they put together this like pavilion on the lawn that they have to set up and then take down and set up and take down. And if you're, the president of the United States, having a proper ballroom for state meetings seems like a perfectly reasonable thing to me. I'm if he had known how crazy people would be driven by it, surely he should have done it in the first term, because for Trump, that's a feature, not a bug. And in an environment where like 1% of Democrats think the world and the US is heading in the right direction, and a strong majority of Trump supporters do, so much of this is just, well, because he's doing it, it must be bad. I was seeing John Oliver the other day saying that, Trump is opposing daylight savings time, which is a very smart thing. It should be gone. It's a horrible policy. It makes no sense. People die. But because Trump wants to get rid of it, then clearly maybe you should go in the other direction on it. That again, he was joking, of course, but I know a lot of people that actually act that way, and I'd rather save the upset. I understand that the big thing is that there's photos and the symbolism of taking a wrecking ball to the White House is, kind of cuts pretty hard to Trump's desire to destroy the administrative state, to Doge, even though that was the biggest failure of the Trump administration to date. But there are bigger things that are happening like right now that deserve people's attention. I'd focus on two that were crowded out of the news cycle by the White House. The first is yet another inappropriate pardon, something that has really been stepped up and weaponized by the Trump administration. We've seen it before. We saw it under Biden. We saw it under Clinton, under other administrations, but to a much greater degree and involving much more structural corruption and kleptocracy under Trump. In this case, the founder of Binance goes by CZ, Changpeng Zhao. He created the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. He pled guilty and was barred from operating in the United States. He paid out over $4 billion to settle the DOJ charges, and now all forgiven. And why? And the answer in the beginnings of the Trump administration, not waiting until he's out of office, and it's because World Liberty Financial, which is owned by Trump and family, and with their World Liberty token worth billions, and the biggest part of the Trump family net worth at this point, was stablecoin issued on the Binance blockchain. So, I mean, Binance has been the organization that's been really behind pumping up the biggest part of Trump's wealth. And no business, pardoning this guy. And, the Trump response is, oh, I heard from a lot of people he was a good guy. Obviously, the fact that this stinks to high heaven is of zero concern to Trump and makes the administration look like it is for sale in a much bigger way than the $300 million that are being given by a large number of corporations to build this new conference center on the site of the East Wing. And then another one I'd focus on more is Trump deciding to put a 10% additional tariff on Canada. Why? Because the state of Ontario decided to use a clip of an old Reagan speech showing that he opposes tariffs and aired it in U.S. markets, including during the World Series. Never mind the fact that that was the government of Ontario and not Canada as a whole, and Trump is putting tariffs on Canada as a whole. Never mind the fact that it was actually the Chinese ambassador to Washington that first used the same clip and posted it on social media months before, back in April, post-Liberation Day, and the Trump administration didn't say boo about that. Never mind the fact that the regulation that Trump is using to justify the executive ability to take tariff power away out of the hands of Congress, where it belongs, and into the executive, is that it's a national emergency, this IEPA rule. And there is clearly no national emergency in responding to an advertisement from the government, the provincial government of Ontario. It's a farce. It is obviously illegal, and yet Trump is doing it, and the Supreme Court is going to rule on it. And both of those things are unprecedented, and both of those things deserve a hell of a lot of coverage. So, look, my view from day one has been that I want to call balls and strikes, especially in an environment where, depending on what media you're watching, either the president is Superman and a cult figure and Jesus' second coming and can do no wrong, or he's Hitler, he's a fascist, he's destructive and is constantly evil. I think we need the ability to talk about when there are things that are working and when there are things that are not. And I understand that's not a very popular place to be. It's certainly not a very populated place to be, but it does allow for a little more sanity. And anyway, it's who I am, so I might as well keep being authentic to myself and see if anybody else cares. So that's my unpopular view for Monday. Hope everyone's doing well, and I'll talk to you real soon.